Welcome back, everybody, to Monster Hunter World. We're on to another monster quest. This time, we are going to be doing Rathalos rematch. Oh, yeah, yes. Yes, we are. I almost freaked scared you, didn't you? I was kind of looking to see. I saw Rathalos below that. I was like, what's the difference between the rematch and the... Oh, yeah, blue. Azure Rathalos. Haven't fought him yet. Alright, we're going to switch over to you. We're going to... Plan is to, of course, capture the Rathalos. Regular red Rathalos, that is. And, yeah, we'll go from there. One thing I always thought was kind of interesting about this was your normal Raytheon is green, but the upgraded version is a pink Raytheon, okay? And your regular Rathalos is a red color, but his upgraded version is blue. And it kind of feels like they flip-flop those. Like your pink, I know pink is a girl color, and at least in the United States. Well, I'm not going to get into that conversation. It used to be a boy color, then they became a girl color in World War II. It kind of feels like there should be flip-flop, that the Rathalos, who starts out red, has a genetic mutation that makes it pink. Okay? And that the Raytheon, who's green, which is a combination of yellow and blue, would lose some of that yellow pigment for some reason and become blue. You know? I don't know. I'm sure the people in, Capcom had their reasons. It could have been as simple as, because I say so. Because that's stupid. You're stupid. So, as I mentioned in the previous episode, one of the big issues I'm going to start running into is a lot of the tougher monsters. Not all of the toughest monsters. A lot of the tougher monsters are flying-based monsters. Okay? Which means that they are affected by flash bombs, which helps to interrupt them from being in a place that I cannot damage them. Obviously, anything that doesn't fly, like an Agenath or a Dodogma, or what's the other one? Earthon. They don't have wings. They can't fly. So the game creators created things that basically make you want to avoid them because of damage. They basically say, well, if you want to sort of just pound the crap out of the monster, that's fine, but know that at any given time it can turn around and just deal big damage to you, so you have to pay attention to its moves. Now, that's true of the Raytheon and the Rathalos, and some of these Legiana and other flying monsters, but when they're in the sky, unless you're running bow and arrow, light bow gun, heavy bow gun, you're not going to be able to reach them usually. Now, if they don't fly very high, I suppose you could probably hit them with any one of the weapons. Like, even the one I'm carrying has decent reach. So if you do an overhead slash, you should be able to hit the monster. But in addition to flying, they're fast, they fly. I don't know. Some of that is just, it's not fun to fight monsters when they don't ever come to the ground, And the Rathalos, particularly Agirathalos, is a very, very, can be a very great slash, you know, a reason for why you have to have some mechanic in the game to ground those flying enemies. Now, obviously, I don't necessarily want my Rathalos fight to be, okay, he's up in the eye, up in the air, shoot the flash bomb, he falls down, I beat on him, he gets up, he goes back on the sky, I shoot the flash bomb, he falls down. It just becomes there's not really any fight to that, you know. And I know for the at least for one or more of the Elder Dragons, they basically made it so that that trick only works so many times before they become, I don't know if the word aware of it or, you know, they become immune to it, is more correct. Like if you're a monster and you fly up in the air and then you suddenly see the hunter go like this with his arm extended, you could possibly close your eyes or try to put your wings or claws over your eyes somehow to, you know, basically negate the, I know that's a little silly for me to say, but try to negate some of the, um, I'm thinking of a different thought now. Um, Try to negate some of, you know, the moves so you don't spam the shit out of it. But I'm also thinking now about like, well, if you're in the sky and you flash them, they shouldn't necessarily fall out of the sky, but it would be kind of interesting to see them run into something like a tree and then fall down, which I know is asking probably a fair amount from the developers, particularly in an area that's not this forest. You know, oh, there's a percent chance that, oh well, in the forest they're more than likely going to run into something, but in the desert they're not, or it'll be very hard for them to run into, you know, go a long enough distance to run into something without like, you know, course correcting. But on the other hand, you know, if I knock this monster out of the sky, or he makes a mistake, or she makes a mistake and falls down like that, there's a good chance I broke one or both of its wings, and now it's not flying at all. Period. Ever. So there's a certain amount of like, okay, you can't have super realism in your game, Chris. Because at the end of the day, it is a game that you want to play and enjoy. You know, and then of course if you're a predator like Rathalos, you know, you just spend all your time up in the sky so I can't ever hit you, and just shoot fire at me from an area I can't get at you, you know, get to you. And then when you start getting tired, you fly away where I can't get you. This is the other dangerous part of doing a Rathalos battle, is in a lot of cases the Raytheon is also in the same mission, whether it's an investigation mission or an optional challenge mission. So here we are, fighting the Rathalos, minding our own business, and here comes Miss Raytheon, going, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Please don't do that, that's so rude." And we look like we're okay right now, but when she turns her ass around and sees what I'm doing, she might not be very happy with me. And then it becomes a 2-on-1 battle, and it just becomes impossible for you to pay attention. Luckily, as far as I know, they do not have any gimmick necessarily, at least in the base form, where Raytheon and Rathalos will attack in a unison type attack that you need to watch out for. You know, where one flies, the other one's on the ground running around, then when the other one's on the ground, the other one's running around. Or like, you know, Raytheon does like a, you know, her tail swipe where she does the backflip, hits you with the tail, and then the Rathalos comes down and grabs you like this and does that. That would be wicked, but probably hard to do. One nice thing about, or terrible thing about the Rathalos is, once you piss the Rathalos off, unless it runs away on its own, under its own merit, the fucker's gonna follow you wherever you go. So it's kind of nice where if you need to lure him to a different area, it's much easier to do than its Raytheon counterpart. However, you're really actually trying to get away from it, it makes it very difficult because you never get out of the red danger area, which, you know, would allow you to give you access to your fast travel. That is another thing about these Rathalos fight is the more he stays on the ground, the easier the Rathalos fight is. The more time he spends with the guy, the harder the battle is. Now obviously he can do damage either on the ground or in the sky, but I can't really do great damage when he's in the sky, or I'm leaving myself very likely to be taking a big hit when he's a guy like that, because he might do like this wobble thing like, oh no, I'm gonna fall down if you keep hitting me, and then he might recover from that, and instead of falling out of the sky, he'll grab you up or hit you with fire or whatever. Bam, bam. Stop. Stop, I'm going home. I'm gonna go to my nest now. Please don't follow me and capture me with your electrical net. It's rude. It would be very rude if you did that. Sorry. No, no. We're gonna get the Rathalos tail. Because I almost forgot it. Do. Alright, we know where the Rathalos / Raytheon like to sleep, so we're just going to go up to that area. Fun fact is if you fight the Azure version or the pink version, I don't think they go all the way up to that nest. I think they have a separate nest here on this level that they'll sleep in. Okay. Makes sense. So, if I can get him to fall down here, I should be able to capture him. Or I may have misunderstood the flying away thing as something else. I need to recover my health, said Fang. That's fine, Fang. You take your time and get your health back. I have to start thinking about what I'm equipping Fang in the future. Very easy to just sort of pick the strongest defensive item, but I believe Palico armor's much like the Hunter armor is affected as certain types better against, so... Hello, sir. I don't know who did that. Maybe I did that. Yeah, I did that. Never mind. If I kill him, that's okay, but I do want to try to capture him if possible. The game does not punish me for killing it, at least in this case. Boom, big attack. I think the Raytheon's incoming now. There's a little X right on my mini-map. Oh sweet, you're at death now. Alright, now I'm gonna capture your ass. Fall down. Oh, here comes Pinky. Oh no, that's Greenie. Hi Greenie. Please go away. I don't like you, go away. I picked the wrong monster. This is the Raytheon, not the Rathalos. That's my bad. Alright, we're gonna have to go back to here. I'm gonna go restock my crap and we'll do this again. Okay, there we go. Alright, we're going to capture now. Please sit still. I'm going to put the trap down. I'm going to throw the bombs at your face. Boom. Haha, I got you. I captured you with my amazing capture ability. We're going to hit this here. Bink, bink, bink. Alright, that should be it for this episode. When we come back, we're going to be fighting something different. Maybe we go to the Elder's Recess. Maybe I fight that Azure Rathalos now. Gotta find out. Gotta tune in. Alright, welcome back everybody to the Monster Hunter. You can see I've switched armor since the last episode because we are going after Lavatos, or however you Lavis, I don't know. However you pronounce that. It's the fishy thing that we fought, but lava version. So remember that fish pincer guy who would cover himself in mud that wasn't very difficult? Uriah or something. This is the lava version of that monster. Operates much the same. Only difference, lava instead of water. And as it comes out of lava, its skin will be softer, but the longer it stays out of the lava, the more likely that armor, that tough armor, builds up, and I'll start plinking off of it. My weapon will start bouncing off. In other words, dead. So. Yep. That'll be fun, right? three little mine drop area things. Anytime I'm in this particular arena, I always get the three because they're right next to each other, and it's just like free money, free real estate, if you will. So that'll be fun. That long-term plan here is to show off each monster at least once, depending on how many episodes I need. You may see certain monsters more than once. You may see an arena battle. Most of the special event battles, or you probably won't see, at least initially, because they involve running the quest multiple times in order to be successful. Um, Example, there's one that I used to help farm some Dogron materials. Odagaran, I guess is how that you're supposed to pronounce it. Where you fight a tiny, like, this is an easy way to get your large and small crown. You fight a tiny, like, legitimately, like, this thing is my size if I lay down sideways. Odogaron. And then you fight this humongous Odogaron. Now, because the smaller Odogaron is smaller, its hitboxes are also smaller, which means it's more likely to deal damage to you if you're in its range. Whereas the bigger Odogaron, while he is bigger and he has a bigger hitboxes, he also has bigger areas that he can whiff in. Whereas, like I said, the small one does not. Its hitboxes all seem to hurt boxes, I guess is the correct term. Hurt boxes are all right next to each other. So you think you're gonna have an easy fight because you can just outrange the small one, and you find out that, oh no, it can actually do much more damage than the larger one can. So. But the reason I say that is because it's a good place to farm the material I needed for the Odogaron set. And then, in addition, that you would get, every time you would finish the fight, they would give you one, maybe of two if you were really super lucky, what they call Mega Man certificates. And that allowed you to build the Mega Man Palico armor, which I think you needed 3 or 5 of. I don't remember. I didn't do the quest enough. And I think you definitely needed 3 to get the Buster arm, which was an actual weapon you could equip to your Palico that wasn't just what do you call it? Decoration. They call it something else. All that. I don't know. There's a name for the type of armor that basically lets you look the way you want to look, but you're actually wearing the correct armor underneath of it. So you get sort of like you get all the benefits of wearing the different types of armor, so that you synergize their different abilities together with the ability to look fashionable or cute, I guess. So I don't think this, see where I'm blinking off of it? I don't think that affects the amount of damage I'm doing to the monster. We'll have to pay attention. I'll pay attention as we continue. But it slows down your DPS definitely, because instead of the attack going through it with a full swipe, you're hitting the hard armor and it's blinking off, so you can't really, go from one move to the next. But once it jumps out of the lava, it's gonna do this a bunch too. But once it comes out of the lava, its hard protective rocky shell should be softened up some, so we're able to do more damage to it. So it does look like we are doing not only more damage because of the combo potential, but it does look like I'm doing somewhere in the ballpark of like, I was doing about 19 before, and now I'm doing somewhere in the ballpark of 26 to 50 something. So this is that's about the same it was before, plus or minus like say 10%, which is 1 or 2 hit points. Stop being a turd. Stop hitting me. Oh my gosh. I am just a big old lava monster, okay? And the fact that you came and you took my brother's body, Gyarados, and you made it into a weapon that has water type affinity on it. That is not only rude, but it is offensive to me. I mean, I don't go and fucking kill, you know, Monster Hunter players and then turn them and put their, you know, and add their corpses to my body and then use that to help reinforce my attack or defense. You know, that's what you're doing here, man. You need to like chill out, like grow some morals or something. That's what we do. That's what Monster Hunters do. We find a monster, whether it's big or small. We hunt it. We use whatever materials we can off of it, turn those into weapon and armor. Which always sort of, I thought was kind of funny, because when you fight a, what do they call those? They're herbivores in this game. You know, there's one with in the desert, there's the one with the turtle shell back. And then there's like one that's called like Apos or something that are in the forest area. Yet, you don't get any armor or weapons off of any of them. You only get a raw meat and carve them. Which, it's fine and dandy, but like, come on, you got a perfectly good turtle shell there, and I can't use any of that for armor? And then meanwhile, you know, you fight the what's it called? Well, right now I'm wearing this armor. What's the name of this thing? The little flappy guys, you know. Yeah, I tricked you, idiot. Even though that shouldn't deal as much damage as it did to you because you're a lava fire-based monster. Also, have you ever swam through lava? Like, I understand, again, Chris, this is not reality, but like, lava's pretty solid, you know? And even where it's probably not super solid, more liquidy, it would be kind of like, I guess, trying to like swim through sand. Like hot sand, I'm told. Pretty dense, in other words. So it's kind of like one of those in-betweens. It's kind of liquidy and it's kind of solid. What do they call that? Viscous or something? I like how science comes up with terms for everything, by the way. We come up with a term where a gas, which typically has to go solid, liquid, gas, liquid, solid. We came up with terms where the item goes from one state, say a gas, directly into a solid, and vice versa. And in a way, you have to, this is sort of one of the fun sciencey things. On the one hand, the law of science sort of states that in order for anything to become a gas, it has to first go through the liquid stage. Okay? So the question is, does the solid in transporting itself into a gas go through the liquid state in such a fast manner that we're not able to observe it, or like I said, is there a possibility that based on extreme circumstances, that an item that is a gas or is a solid can, without any shadow of a doubt, no millisecond, you know, small minuscule amount of seconds, pass through the intermediate liquid stage and just go straight from one to the other? I mean, I can understand the philosophy behind both, you know, where even if we can't observe it, the law of nature says that it has to go through this middle phase to transfer itself from a solid to a gas. And at the same time, you know, when you start doing the, you know, God can do anything sort of thing, but in science, you know, the possibility is still there that, yes, and I'm speaking out my ass again, if you're a science person, you know for a fact that a gas through sublimation, or is that it? Sublimation? Sublimation is one or the other. It goes from one state to the other immediately. I don't know. It's just for me. It's not hard to fathom because I can see, you know, in my imagination, I can understand how both would work. You know, like, oh, hey, this is sort of a rule of nature, you know, like, for instance, as much as I dislike it, you know, you're born, you live, you age, you know, things become less perfect, and then slowly but surely those imperfections lead to your downfall and death. But that's important too, because you've taken nutrients and resources out of the world to create you, and now you're putting those nutrients back into the soil. And that's both in terms of the normal everyday respiration and digestion that you do, but also in sort of a physical form as well, where, you know, you eat, you digest, it becomes energy, and you poop out the remainder, okay? And the poop itself has some benefit to nature. It is a byproduct of your body. It is important for bringing life to other things because, again, your body takes a certain amount of energy and nutrients and returns it to the world in a different capacity that your body doesn't necessarily use, but the rest of the world or Earth or whatever, the universe, can use, you know? And same thing with your respiration. You pull in, you know, in addition to other gases, you pull in carbon dioxide, right? I mean, you pull in oxygen, and, you know, your body abstracts the oxygen, uses that for energy, and then it replaces it with carbon dioxide, which plants use to turn from carbon dioxide into oxygen. Now, it's not obviously a perfect thing because, as we learned from some of the early lunar tests or shuttle crafts, you can't have pure oxygen. Pure oxygen is flammable, very flammable. Because guess what? In addition to human beings liking oxygen, fire likes oxygen. Without oxygen, fire dies. Without oxygen, humans die. Fun. Alrighty.